Every fandom has their ships, and today I'm ranking all the Stranger Things ones. What's going on, guys? I'm Chris, and welcome back to another Stranger Things videos. This is a bit of a unique tier list for me, not something I would normally do, but I'm going to be ranking in a big old tier list all of the ships from Stranger Things. What I mean by ships are couples in Stranger Things that have existed or currently exist, as well as fan ships that aren't canon yet. Fans just hope that two characters get together or make up stories about them being together. I'm ranking these in some tiers that I'll go through momentarily, and I'm ranking these based on my personal opinion on the ship, as well as if I think they'd work together or not. Before I get in this though, be sure to hit that like button and comment down below your favorite ships in Stranger Things. Subscribe and hit that notification bell to help me reach my goal of 150,000 subscribers here on the channel. And if you want extra content, you can find that over on my Patreon. Any support over there truly does mean the world. Without further ado, let's dive into this Stranger Things ship tier list. All right, so the tiers I have are Endgame, Cute Couple, Could Be Good Together, Platonic Besties, and Never Ever Getting Together. Again, this is a very different type of tier list for me, but shout out to my girlfriend Cam for giving me the idea. Let's have some fun with this thing. First up, we've got Jonathan and Nancy, aka Jancy. Jonathan and Nancy really caught stride in season 2 of Stranger Things, and they've kind of been together since then, to be honest. They've had their ups and downs, their rocky road, but I don't know if I think they're endgame or not, and we'll talk about why later on. But Jancy, to me, I think they're a cute couple, honestly. Like, they have their moments to shine. I just think if we're talking Nancy and someone else, there might be someone who's a bit better. Next, we got Vicky and Robin. They were set up at the end of Stranger Things season 4. Honestly, I think they could be good together. I don't know if they're endgame. I don't know if they're even like going to be a cute couple, if we're even headed that direction. But Vicky is going to be a character in season 5, and I'm assuming, based on that final scene of them that's photographed in this tier list, that Vicky and Robin are headed towards being an official couple. I think they definitely could be good together. I like the vibe they have. They bounce off each other well. They had some sweet conversations, and it seems like they get each other. So I think they could be good together. I just don't know if that's the route they're going or not in this final season, though all signs are kind of pointing that way. Next, we have Max and Mike, which honestly, they're never going to be together, obviously, so I'm going to put them in never ever getting together. But there was a brief moment in time in season 2 where it was like, maybe something could be going on here. But obviously, Mike and Eleven, we got to talk about them more, and maybe Mike and someone else on this tier list. But Mike and Max, they're just friends. They're not like besties or anything, but they're never ever getting together, and I think there's a section of the fandom that wanted that at one point or wants that. It's just it's so off base now. There's no shot. Next, we've got Robin and Nancy, which is a real fascinating one. You might also know them as Rose and Ruth from when they went undercover. But to me, they've always just been, they've given off more of like a potential platonic besties vibe, because I don't think that they're ever going to actually end up together. If anything, Robin is a wing woman or wingman for Steve. People always take random ships and sort of run with them. It's like fun to make edits too, but they're besties, if anything, and I just don't see them ever actually getting together. Next, we have Argyle and Eden. We get a brief shot of them in the back of the van in season 4 when they're, partaking in some Purple Palm Tree delight. But honestly, I think they could be good together. I kind of do. I'm going to put them there right now. I think they could be good together if they ever want to bring Eden back or Argyle, but the likelihood of us seeing either of these characters is pretty slim in this final season. Maybe one shot of them in like the final episode. They're married or something crazy like that. I don't know. Next, we have Byler, Mike, and Will. They've been friends since the beginning of the show, and there's clear romantic feelings on one side of this. Will very evidently has feelings for Mike, and sort of, in a way, confessed his feelings to Mike, sort of. In season 4, it's very clear that he has a love for him that might go past just friends. He might have romantic feelings for Mike. Mike does not reciprocate, in my opinion, and he never has. And so that's where I think the Byler fandom loses itself, is it's sort of a one-sided thing. They have never even once indicated, in my opinion, that Mike has feelings for Will or that this would ever be a couple. And the reason being, there's another couple involving Mike that has been developed since season 1. I think they're platonic besties, right? I'll put them up there at the top of that because they are. But I don't know if they would ever be a romantic relationship. I don't think that would ever happen. Next, we have Bob and Joy. Such a cute couple. I'm going to put them up here right now. Rip Bob. Bob Newby, superhero. didn't deserve what he got, but he did. This was an actual couple in the show for a while, and we got, you know, some sweet moments with them. Bob was good to Joyce. He was good to the Byer family, and unfortunately, some of the best people in Hawkins, some of the kindest people end up biting the dust. It's messed up, it's dark, but it's the reality we live in. That's Stranger Things, and the Duffers like to do dark things. What can I say? Next, we've got Stancy. Steve and Nancy. This is where the hot debate comes in. Are you Team Jancy or are you Team Stancy? I've always been Team Stancy, and it's a hot take, apparently. I think they're endgame. I'm putting it up there right now. I think Steve and Nancy are endgame. I think they're going to end up together, and my main reasoning for that is in season 4, the Duffers went out of their way to reignite this spark between the two of them, especially in Volume 2. The scene in the RV where Steve and Nancy are up front in the RV and Steve's sort of talking about his future and he envisions, you know, having these little nuggets running around, and it's heavily hinted at that he wants to marry Nancy. You've got the scene when Steve's getting bandaged up by Nancy, and Nancy's giving him the look, like she's checking him out. She's into him. There's a clear tension, and it extends past just friendship. They have a romantic past, and I firmly believe that in this final season, we're going to see that on full display here. Because at the end of season 4, even when it comes to Jonathan and Nancy, Jonathan wasn't fully truthful with Nancy, and he has lied to her quite a bit. Steve has sort of worked on himself. Ever since season 1, he's changed immensely as a human, as a character in the show. I think he's matured. I think Nancy's matured a bit, and I could totally see Steve and Nancy being an endgame couple in the show. It would also be more satisfying to me to have that redemption, right? Steve messed up their relationship round 1. Nancy gave him, you know, the kick in the ass he needed, but he's come so far, and I think they've both matured to the point where they can realize they're right for each other. It would also be really satisfying as a viewer to have this 5-season journey. We go from season 1, Steve's the jerk, to season 5, Steve is the best, and they have this love for each other. So I think they're endgame between Jancy and Stancy. However, I could see a route where Nancy ends up with neither of them. Next, we've got Max and Dustin never ever getting together. I just don't see that ever happening, and it's weird. They're friends. They're not even besties. They're just friends. It'd be very weird and strange, and yeah, moving on. Next, we have Jopper. Endgame, top of Endgame. They are the best couple in Stranger Things, bar none. It has been so rewarding to watch their relationship blossom over the course of 4 seasons. Heading into season 5, I hope they get married. All right, they deserve each other. They love each other. It was so satisfying in season 4 when they finally had that kiss. I love them. There's not much else I can say. They're the parents of Stranger Things. That's mom and dad. They deserve a happy ending more than anyone. Please let them both live happily ever after. Please. Please, they deserve it. Next, we got Lumax, 2 power couples in a row, Lucas and Max. They're endgame as well. I'm putting them over Stancy. Lucas and Max are right up there in you know, the discussion of best couple in the show. They've had their, you know, rough patches as well, but they really do care so much about each other. Lucas loves Max so deeply. He comforts her. He's there by her side all throughout season 4 when she's dealing with this trauma and she's being hunted by Vecna. He's there for her, and that love is real. The emotion in that scene where Max dies and we hear Lucas yell out, "Erica, get help!" Like, it sends chills down my spine. I imagine in season 5, he will have been by her side while she's in her coma for however long the time jump is. He probably spends most hours of the day by her side, loving her, caring for her. They are endgame, and they deserve that date at the movies. I hope we get to see that. They go to the movies. They deserve to be happy, and I hope they have a long, you know, loving relationship for the rest of time because they deserve it. And on that note, Jopper, we got to see them have their date at Enzo's, all right? We need an Enzo's date with Jopper. We need a movie date with Lumax, and then we're all happy. Next, we have Chrissy and Jason, which, I mean, they were together. I don't know if I even have a category for them. Like, I don't think they're a cute couple. They're never ever getting together, I guess, because they're both dead. I'm going to sort of make up my own rules on this tier list. Next, we have Susie Poo and Dusty Bun. I definitely am going to say they're a cute couple. I love them. I don't know if they're endgame, but I'm putting them at the top of cute couple. The reason they might not be endgame is the distance. Long distance can be tough, and they're, you know, across the country, right? So I don't know if we see Susie this final season. I'd love to see her and Dustin, you know, end together. If they do like some sort of time jump to the future at the very end, I'd love to see them together. But Never Ending Story, though, they crushed that. That's like the rendition of that song. Next, we have Maleven, aka Mike and Eleven. Mike and Eleven, to me, guys, they're endgame. And they've been setting that up to me since early on in season 1. On my most recent rewatch of Stranger Things, I was able to understand Mike a bit more. I didn't have as much ill will in my heart towards him. There was a point in time where I thought he was the most irritating character in the show, and I've warmed up to him. All right, let's just say that much. So Mike and Eleven, such a sweet couple. And in season 4, we get such a sweet moment when Mike is speaking to Eleven. The whole "I love you" scene. I mean, that is powerful stuff, and that's endgame material, folks. I'm putting them behind Lumax in terms of endgame, because I do think that those 3 couples right here, Jopper, Lumax, Eleven, they have proven season after season that they can have a lifelong love, and I think that's the case. I think Mike and Eleven are endgame, assuming, they both make it out alive. I could definitely see Eleven dying. That would be sad. I don't really want to think about that. Yeah, that would just be even more upsetting, actually. They'd still be endgame. She would just be gone. Next, we have Lonnie and Joyce. Never, ever getting back together, to quote Taylor Swift. They were together. They had 2 kids. Lonnie's a piece of shit, and I hope we don't see him again, and they're never ever getting back together. Next, we have Steady, Steve and Eddie. To me, I know that there are people who are like, oh, there was some romantic tension there. I've always been like, no, they're platonic besties. I'll put them at the top of that because they matched each other's energy. They were flirtatious, but I don't think it was like romantic. It was always more so like bromance, like if you have some close friends and y'all are like flirty, it's like a playfulness. It's not like actual romance. That's how I've always viewed this, platonic besties. Even though if anyone's into one or the other, Eddie was more into Steve. Let's be honest. Harrington's got her, don't you, big boy? There was something going on there, right? I'll admit, but I've always leaned that they're platonic friends. Next, we have Chrissy and Eddie, which I don't know what it is, but I've never really gotten this. I'm gonna say never ever getting together. Obviously, they're both dead again. Rest in peace. I'll put them like right here and never ever getting together, but I don't know. It always seemed a little off to me, a little weird, the age difference in particular, if you really think about that. And last, we've got Billy and Karen Wheeler. I'm not gonna lie, they're never ever getting together. I was about to say, oh, they could be a cute couple. No shot. I'm saying never ever getting together, probably like right here. Why not? Doesn't really matter the placement down there because they're not getting together ever, but hey, it's fun to think about. But yeah, that does it for my ranking of the Stranger Things ships. Let me know in the comments down below your ranking. Where would you place these ships in their specific tiers? And who do you think is going to end up together, Stancy or Jancy? Hit that like button, subscribe into that notification bell, and stay tuned for more content coming very soon. But until next time, I'll see you on the other side of the Upside Down.